So this is the next tutorial where I left off previously. So previously I was at frame 14, right? Which was here, right? And I did everything up until the spin all rotation, right? Because I wanted to rotate. Spin all again is this one right here. Click it. Spin all. And then you can see the keyframes. I need to rotate it. Press E as in Edward. Right? And it's going, like I said, this way. So you have to carefully rotate like that. Right? The value that I have is a rotate Z of minus 111. Right, so minus 111. Yours doesn't have to be exactly like that, right? That's just basically what I had. Pop, pop, pop. See? Pop, 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 pop. Again, I'm scrubbing, holding the Alt key and greater than sign. Pop, 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 pop. Pop, 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 pop. Pop. And you see, you notice the trajectory, right? From here, if you look at this arrow, pop, 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 pop. Okay. And I put negative 111. Because when you're first learning, this is what you're going to be doing, you know, like this. This is what I probably had before, right? But right now, I'm just trying exact values. So maybe it might not be the best thing to kind of punch in exact numbers right now, because you'll be thinking along that way, right? But I'm just showing. When you're first learning, you'll be kind of free-flowing it like this. Maybe something like that. You know, minus 89 or something. I think I might, not sure. I don't want to teach a habit of just punching in specific numbers, right? That's what I'm kind of wary about. Okay, so it did that. Now I also want to space bar show this part. Press F. Okay, this here, I just select it like that, is my rotate Z. Rotate Z. You can see this. I'm going to select it like that, and I'm going to hover over the handle carefully, left click, and I'm going to drag like that. That way it just has a trajectory and the velocity or whatever the hell you want to call it going down like that. Okay. Now I also have my bottom squash and top squash. They're going to be stretching to emphasize stretching, you know, to show that there's an explosion, a pop. So again, frame 14, right? Zoom in. When I select it, you notice that there's already a keyframe. And that's the reason why I had grabbed everything and set keyframes, because I know I have to come in and set keyframes to kind of pose the major poses, because these are like my landmarks that tells me exactly where to manipulate and shape it, the key pose. So I'm going to pull, I'm going to grab that, I'm going to pull, right? You see what's happening? And I just free flowed it, right? I didn't put any exact numbers. And then I'm gonna grab that, and you can see this here. This means it's broken tangents. If I select it, it's here, and I have all these other lines confusing, so I just want to select that, so you only see this, right? I'm going to select like that. I'm going to hover over here left mouse click, and I'm going to drag so I can manipulate my broken tangent to be more flowing. Okay. Then that was for my top squash. I click on my bottom squash. Right, my bottom squash is here, and I had stretched it. Right, if I select it, it's that one. I can select just that, so I only see this. I can just hover over there, select it individually, and then left click and drag. That's what I want. Because I don't want it to I do not want the rotation to slow, because this means it's going to slow down, like ease in or ease out in After Effects. That's basically the general idea. I just want to be consistent. So if I go back and I play it, which is Alt V as in Victor, see? Pop. Pop. I put my cursor over here. Okay. Alright, next. I select everything again, right? And you notice, I want to discuss this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames, okay? 6 frames. Now, I'm going to move forward another 6 frames. Holding the Alt key, greater than sign. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lands on frame 20. I'm going to hit S. Okay. Again, I had selected everything and I hit S. This is to mark down my major milestone keyframes so that I know where everything is going to be placed. They're kind of like my markers, you could say. But you will notice that here I have this strange looping action due to setting the keyframe. I'm going to select this, right? If I look here, this tells me it's my spin all. Okay, you see the little dot? I'm going to select that. Now you can see that. So if I scrub, you see this? You see how it's arcing back down? Okay. What I want to do is, okay, so 1 second. Pop, 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 pop. I'm gonna not mess with that right now. I need to show the bigger picture. So pop, 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 right? And then it needs to make contact to come back down, right? So if you remember previously, from here to here, okay, I traveled forward 15 units on the X. Watch, 0, bop, 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 15 units, right? If I turn on the grid, this is 15 units. From here to here is 15 units. See these grids? Now if I go the next major keyframe pressing the greater than sign, right, it did not travel, but it does need to travel 15 units. 15 units more. So if it's 15, right, it's 15 more, it's gonna be 30. Whoa. Whoa, 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 what just happened? Uh-oh. Oh, wait. Well, that's because I have everything selected. I need to just select this. Just the ball control. And then I'm gonna type in 30. Okay. After I type in 30, I need to drop this down. On the translate Y, type in 0. So you'll notice, okay. Previously, I wanted to go in and I wanted to fix this, right? Remember I talked about spin all? And I was just about to mess with it, but I left it alone because again, I don't want to nitpick on the small minor details, right? That's why I transitioned into the selecting the ball control and making the contact point, right? So here's the contact point. And I chose these sets of numbers, right? Because from 8 to 14, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames, right? And the midpoint, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames to the end point. So it's evenly distributed frames. That way the midpoint here, right, end point here, it will make a nice arc with a nice round even numbers. That's the whole point of it. So, and also the distance traveled, I'm keeping track of that. From here to here is 15 units on the X. And I purposely made it travel another 15 units to make it at 30 units. That way I know the exact midpoint and end point will be numbers that be nicely balanced, right? Because that here is 0, here is 15, here is 30. All of that will translate to a nice arc. If I just eyeball it and push and pull, it just takes longer because you're trying to eyeball things to have a nice arc, and you're battling the frame count too, because the frame count also helps shape the arc. You'll eventually see what I'm talking about, but that's what I mean by. Anyway, so the ball control, right? I gotta select this. This here is my translate Y. I want to have a nice clean arc coming back down. Right now, it's doing this. So you see this wonky little movement, right? I'm gonna go in between right around here. I'm gonna select the translate Y for the ball control. I'm gonna select this here only, hover over it, the handle, left click on it, and pop it up. See? So when I scrub it, but you notice it's doing something weird, right? You see, it's not a perfect arc. Why is that doing that? I mean, I fixed my highs and my lows, translate Y, but it's still acting weird. Why is that doing that? Well, to understand and to troubleshoot, right, we have to look at what other movement did I do, right? I know that I moved in translate X. If I click on translate X, right, you're gonna see this. So it looks like it's kinda right. See, you see this? What if instead of slowing down, I grabbed the handle and I made it more linear. I grabbed this midpoint handle. I'm gonna try to just do something like that. Maybe I'll grab that. Maybe I'll do hover over it carefully. Just kind of pull on it a bit. Grab that, hover over it, pull on the handle carefully, scrub it, and it doesn't help. It does not help at all. Looks like crap. So since that didn't help, let's see what else I manipulated. Well, I know I manipulated my spin all, right? Hence, here I am back again to my spin all. Select it, right. Marquee selected. I know it's my rotate X now. I'm gonna just select that so I only see this. Then I'm gonna go over here, right, frame 20. I'm not even looking here right now, right? I'm not gonna look at the number I punched in because I don't want to teach you guys about just punching in numbers, because it's good to show the free flow animation of it. I'm gonna just hover over it. See, it turns into a handle when I left click. I want to hold shift. Reason why I hold shift is that I can drag it down, perfectly down. It's gonna lock it in. And I'm gonna have it like that. Straight down like that. Again, I'll do it one more time. Here I am, right? And you notice that it's doing this. There's no rotation, that's why it looks so stupid. So at the last frame, select the keyframe, for the rotate Z, highlight it, press F, zoom out a bit, maybe hold Alt and Shift, and just kind of, you know, shape it in. Again, that's Alt Shift, pulling my right mouse button either left and right, up and down together, right, to kind of balance it out, to get the look I want. Select it, okay, hold Shift, left click and hold, and I'm looking, while I'm looking, I'm going to look at the ball, and I'm looking at my graph editor to get the trajectory I want. I want something like that. Like that. Again, I'm not looking here. I'm just eyeballing it, getting a feel for it. By the way, if you cannot see, right, make sure that you have shading, backface culling. Everyone should know this by now. If you did not, that's a big issue for you, because everyone should know this by now. If you do not, if you cannot see through the wall. So let's see what happens. So much better, right? All because I changed the rotation trajectory to match. Bop, 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 bop. Very nice. So on frame 20 is the impact, and you notice that the arc, very nice arc, right? But it needs to squash because it's stretching. Yet at the same time over here, this probably needs to have a little stretch too, right? But then let's go back to here at this contact point. I'm gonna select this, right, bottom squash, and you notice my bottom squash, if I select this, right, I selected it only to find out which one of these channels it is. Translate Y, I only want to select translate Y, because if I have all of these, I can accidentally move these guys. That's why you want to just select that, figure out what curve this is, go over here, find it, highlight it. It's a form of damage control, so you don't move around other things. So I'm going to select it like that. Instead of punching in numbers, wait, you know what? This one I should punch in a number. I need to reset it back to the default value of 0. And you see it changed, it went back up to 0. This here, I want to I'm gonna use flat tangents, right? So that to read what's going on, from here it stretches and then it goes back to 0 default. Then my top squash, right? See how it's pushing through the floor, right? My top squash at frame 20, the contact point, it also needs to be 0. So I have squish. It'll look like it's squishing basically. I mean, as a matter of fact, I think what I want to do is I want to grab this, right, the bottom squash, right, and I'm gonna squish it in. See, as soon as I did that, it moved. Before, right, this is my, when I select it, that's my translate Y for my bottom squash, right. See, it moved. So go back here, squish. I do not squish my top squash. The reason why I don't squish it, because if I squish it, I need to, you know, rebalance it out by pulling down on my ball control. That's why I did not squish this, right? But I can squish this, okay? Right. So let's go back to frame 14. I want to do some looking at what's happening. I like that. It is stretching, squishing. Right. But you see here how it's quickly collapsing or squashing down. You can go in here, right? Again, I'm grabbing my bottom squash. I'm right around here, right? What I could do is to punch this pose, this look further, right? I have my translate Y, bottom squash. I select the keyframe here, and then from there I'm gonna select the handle. Watch. If I make it like this, if you look at my ball, you'll notice that it's changing. I'm giving a really radical curve. So what this is telling me is that here at this stretch point, it's going to hold that stretch. See, this means that it is holding that stretch until the very last moment. Then it squashes. So there's a bit more of a snap. Boom. And even here at frame 8, right, frame 8 is the moving hold. You see right here, let's say frame 8 to around 9 and 10. I can go in, again, this is my bottom squash. I can make it more stretchy. How do I make it more stretchy? Well, I select the curve, the keyframe, right? That's for frame 8, right? But right now I'm in between there, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna break tangents. Remember, break tangents? All of that is way up here. If you need to look back, I'm gonna break the tangents. As soon as I break it, I can hover over it, right? Left click it. If you look at my the ball, you'll notice it stretches. So now I have more of a instantaneous explosion. Stretch. Right. And then squash to here. Maybe I'll squash it some more. See? It just moved. Squash. Squash. Here. Oh, I don't want to mess with the bottom squash. Here's my top squash from Remember. Right? Squash. Right there. And then here. Pop. I'm not gonna mess with it. And then here, right? And then down to here. Okay, this is my top squash. Here it is. Who's to say that maybe I can just try to push it some more, right? Just before frame 20, grab the handle, and then I'm gonna do this. Have a nice arc. That. If I play it, Alt and V as in Victor, go back. There you go. That was 24 minutes, so we have that. And as you notice, I did not look at my numbers, right? Only the 15 units, 30 units for the movement. For the rotation, I did not mess with it. So hopefully, this makes sense, right? Most importantly is the frame count, right? Frame count and the distance traveled, right? Between here, the starting point, midpoint, right? End point, right? My frame count is even, That way I can split it right down the middle. At the very least, and at the very most, please be aware of this. This will help tremendously, that you can split it right down the middle in terms of the frame count to get the perfect in between, and also to be aware of the distance traveled, right? Frame 8, I have 0, my high point arc, distance traveled, never mind the high point, the Y up, the distance traveled 15 units, okay, on the X, and I want to make the contact, additional 15 units on the X gives me 30, so 0, 15, 30. The Y itself, I mean, that's flexible to whatever extent it's flexible, right? Because I could grab it. Oops, I just accidentally moved it right now. See what happens? I could grab it, hold shift. I can pull up. Oof, be careful about that. And give a dramatically different pop. See? All from just yanking on the Y, pushing it up so I have a higher arc. You know, I could leave it there. Maybe I could bring it back down a bit. Doesn't matter. A lot of it has to do with how it feels to you. Right? Just be aware of the frame count so that you have a nice midway point, nice and even, right? And be aware of the amount traveled from 0 to 15 to 30. That way I know I have a perfect arc. I hope this translates for you guys, because this will help save a lot of headache instead of just eyeballing the distance and the arc and the height, because you could end up burning through a lot of time. It's 27 minutes. I'm going to end it there, and then after that I'm going to go forward into the next parts. Alright, bye.